What's up, everybody? Oh, let's get the hair right this time. What's up, Zero? What's up, Sean? It is a very solemn and serious opening, and I love it. Honestly, I've made a bunch of openings for all of my channel stuff. I've done 2 or 3 over here on the King's Court. I've done, I think, 4 or 5 for stuff on King's Advisors, and that is far and away, I think, my favorite one that I've made. Hope everyone's having a good day. It is Thursday. I've got about 8 hours that I need to make it without thinking about work or jobs or anything like that. And I have a very important phone call to make. So I'm praying. I am crossing my fingers. I'm doing everything I can to try to get through the day. What's up to Beast? Aloha. Whenever I hear someone say aloha, it reminds me of the there was an SNL skit probably about 15 years ago, I think, with The Rock and I forget who the other guy was, but The Rock, I think The Rock was the host, and it was him and another guy that were they were like greeters or waiters or something in a restaurant in Hawaii, and they would do like a bunch of aloha stuff as they walked up to a table, and then it would be a tourist, and the tourist would say something like, "Oh, it's so beautiful here," and The Rock would be like, "Yeah, you should see the double wide trailer I have to live in 7 miles inland because of you tourists," and then go off and do something. But it was hilarious. Genuinely probably one of the funnier ones I've ever seen. What's up, Spider? What's up, Grunt and Colehauser? Colehauser's making us all feel bad, telling us all that he's already at the gym more than probably any of us have been. Definitely more than me. And then Mark Reality asks, wasn't that dude that used to play Mango on SNL? Let's find out. SNL Mango. I don't think so. No. Let's see if I can find it. SNL Hawaii The Rock. Oh shit! I think I found it. Yeah, no, it was Fred Armisen. That's who it was. Obviously, we're not going to play the whole thing. I want to see if I can find. This might have been
Welcome
it.
to the island of Kauai.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We're on our honeymoon.
Oh, how sweet. Yeah.
Honeymoon
I think this is before the steroids.
in Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's so original.
Well, thanks.
It must be fun working here, huh?
Oh, it's great. They make us wear grass skirts.
We play the same song over and over.
We make $7 an hour. It's a dream job.
Hawaii's a beautiful place to live.
Yeah, I should have seen it before. It was covered in hotels.
Yeah, it's a fun fact about Hawaii. Our biggest export is coffee, and our biggest import is fat white tourists.
Sean, when did Fred start taking steroids? No, this is before The Rock got on steroids. I don't think The Rock was doing roids like during WWE, was he? Yeah, and then so every single time they insult them, they just fuck off and do their little dance thing. It's hilarious. Genuinely one of my favorite skits on SNL. Claus said that they're snowed in, so he has the gym to himself. Well, that's nice. Yep. And Clyde says, at least someone has a reliable morning show. Well, my prayer is that this is the last of the morning shows, or not that this week is one of the last. I'm hoping to be back at work sometime next week. but we'll see. We're trying not to think about that. We're trying to focus on this. But he did a show last night at like I think midnight. So I kind of get it. And to Beast, you should feel appropriated. Absolutely. The gear probably made him go bald. Probably made him do a lot of stuff. It has been a lot of fun, shockingly. Like I totally get why Jay does Welcome to the Rebellion in the morning. It's a lot of fun to kind of wake up with this and wake up with y'all and talk about this stuff. It's also nice because in the morning, so it's a bit weird. The morning shows this week and last week have felt easier to do than the Thursday night show because I feel like with just doing it once a week, there's this onus to be, better and geared down more on like singular subjects and impart more knowledge and stuff like that. Whereas with this, I kind of feel like I can just sit there and talk to y'all and be like, you know what? Let's look at this. This is why this is dumb. And it feels more conversational than being like a teacher almost. I'm not going to say a damn word. Oh, Grunt, this is the saddest thing I've ever heard. Thought he was going to be stationed in Hawaii. Everyone else got Hawaii. He got Pendleton. Cole Hauser, that's something you're going to have to learn. I don't know how long you've been doing it. My assumption is you've been doing it just a little bit. You're never going to find that time that no one else is live. You're never going to not have to stream over someone. Just do it. Deal with it. No one's going to be upset with you. IKEA, what's going on, dude? How you doing? So we're going to go until probably about 11 o'clock. That'll be about 2 hours. If we're having fun, maybe we'll go a little bit longer, but we're probably going to do about 2 hours today. And then I'll be doing some more Red Dead, probably from about noonish to 4ish. So there's a grocery store. No, what is this? It's a wood products and landscaping supply. So what is that? That's like a Home Depot type thing. Up in Minnesota, they've got a sign outside their store. And this was one of them. More ice would be nice. F.U. Waltz. I like that. And then they did another one. Where is our money, tampon boy? That's pretty funny. I love that it's hunting orange. Exactly. Like there's no, and that's something that X-Wing kind of taught me early on that, I'd be sitting there and, kind of talking about like time slots and stuff like that. And he just kind of really hammered home, look, man, there's no way for you to no one gets to claim a slot. The only one that really, I would say people try not to stream around F&T, but beyond that, that's the only probably 2-3 hour block that's cut off, I would say. Everyone else, every other hour is free game. Jay and I have played Sea of Thieves over F&T before. So it's really not a, no one owns a slot. It's just, do you feel comfortable streaming then? Do you want to? So, Cole Hauser, if you want to go play Battlefront 2. Go play Battlefront 2. I appreciate it, IKEA. Good. Yeah, I think this would be kind of a, let's look them up. Central Wood Products. And Landscape Supply. Minnesota. Yeah, this looks like it. Let's see. So this is their mulch. I don't really care about their mulch. I just want to know about them. They got some pretty good mulch. So I used to do landscaping, and I always hated the places that wanted us to lay down pine straw instead of mulch, because mulch has always looked so much better than pine straw. I think pine straw has a way of getting messed up really easily. The wind blows it terribly. Mulch looks just better. And it always annoyed me when we would have to go spray or spread pine straw instead of mulch. Let's see if I can find a little more about the company. Oh, they do tree removals too. Wow, this is a pretty cool place. Huh. Okay, so it's not it's not like a store. It looks like it's just a service. Well, that's too bad. I was kind of hoping, we'd get some people out there to go show us stuff. I think this is probably one of the coolest images we've seen all year. This could be the image of 2026. What do y'all think about this? I love this picture. I saw this on that Pax Americana website or Twitter page. Absolutely love it. That wouldn't surprise me, Corn Boy. Absolutely. You know what, Clyde? I'm going to agree with Sean here. Not 1 inch of ground are we giving up. We will fix this country. Do not let the Jasons of the world ruin what we have here. Do not black pill. I'm just messing, Jason. How do I see this? Hang on a second, guys. Good morning. Morning, Wicked. How are you doing? Y'all had a pretty fun show. Okay, so this was hilarious. Okay. I genuinely got really concerned for Wicked, Vara, and Jay this morning because I had oh my god, I forgot the name of y'all's show. What's the name, Wicked? What's the name of your show on Wednesday night? Vara and Virtue. All right, so I had Vara and Virtue up on my monitor right here, and I was watching it, and I was like, I think there was probably about 45 minutes left. And I was like, you know what? I need to go do something. So I went into my kitchen. I did something, and then I went to go to bed. And I wake up like 6 a.m. I walk into my office, and y'all are still talking over here on my monitor. And my first thought is, holy crap, they've been talking for 12 hours. What the hell are they doing? No idea how it happened, because it should have ended, but it didn't. It just, I think you got paused and then unpaused for some reason. But I was shocked for a second there. I was like, oh my gosh, Jay is going to kill these people. Of course, then Jay went and did a morning show, or a late night show, and now he's not doing a morning show. Good for me. Cole Hauser, I can't do anything about Canada, because Canada would not accept what I say should be done. America's barely accepting what I think should be done. Oh. I tell you, the funnest thing, or the best thing coming out of Minnesota right now, are just the videos. What's up, Jose Taco? I saw this, and this is so true. Let's see. There we go. How liberal women would protect the border if immigrants looked like Sydney Sweeney. Dang it. Okay. It's so funny. They would, though. I thought this was the funnier one. Just the howitzer. Kill them all. Spider says that's how he'd protect Sydney. Well, I did not know he was going live. I probably would have watched a little bit of it, but I went to bed. And Mark, I'm pretty sure she's a citizen. I don't think she needs a green card. Sorry, buddy. So there's a couple of things we're going to talk about. One, I meant to double check this before I start talking about it. So let me look something up real quick. Waltz was supposed to have given a address, a sort of a state of the state last night. That I read on Twitter was taken down, but I see that the Office of the Governor of Minnesota on YouTube still has this up. So unless anyone knows that there was a second speech, this is his address to the state and, let's be honest, the nation. Because we know that the Democratic Party is trying to use him to inspire the same sort of resistance in other states as well. Again, I can think of about 30 people just off the bat that I would probably listen to before I listen to this idiot. Because I forgot about this. Because let's all remember the truth behind this man. Wait for it. Wow, I have bookmarked a lot of stuff. Where is it? We're almost there. Because y'all know what time it is. It's time for Tampon Tim.
I'm Tampon Tim, the people's friend. Free tampons for all the men. Daycare's full of kids, well, kinda. But the money goes to my dear friends from Somalia. Hey, 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 hey. Fraud all day. Billions gone astray. Ghost kids, no one's there. Welcome to Tampon Tim's Daycare. Tampons in the boys' room, that's my plan. While my friends cash checks across the land. Feeding our future, what a name. Empty buildings, still the same. Hey, hey, fraud all day. Billions gone astray. Ghost kids, no one's there. Welcome to Tampon Tim's Daycare. Tampon Tim, hey, Tampon Tim fraud.
Okay, back to the seriousness. So this is good old Tampon Tim addressing the state and the nation.
Going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live.
5. All right, let's watch it over here first so we get the full address.
Minnesotans, what's happening in Minnesota right now defies belief. News reports simply don't do justice to the level of chaos and disruption and trauma the federal.
What I would say is news reports do not do justice to the level of fraud and illegal activity taking place in the state of Minnesota, both from the different immigrant communities up there and from the politicians and just the citizens in general. The amount of fraud that's going on in that state, there's no way that you do not have politicians and native, Americans complicit in this fraud. There's no way people didn't know. We saw a video. It was an interview with, it might have been Nick Shirley. He might have done this interview with the TSA agents that were saying, we knew that this fraud existed. We weren't sure of the high level of it, but we've been seeing these Somalians leaving Minnesota, getting on the flights with suitcases full of cash, and we've been told there's nothing we can do about it. Yet you or I get on a plane with a briefcase full of cash, and we would have to explain where the money's from, why we're leaving the country with it, and in some cases, we wouldn't even be allowed to leave the country.
The federal government is raining down upon our communities. 2 to 3.
How, Lily, can you tell me what kind of fixed audio it was?
3,000 armed agents of the federal government have been deployed to Minnesota. Armed, masked, undertrained ICE agents are going.
I would bet my enormously underpaid salary, because it's zero right now, that there is not a single one of these ICE agents that have been deployed to Minnesota that have received less training than the Minneapolis Police Department. Okay. That's not that big a deal then. That's not a big deal at all.
Going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live. They're pulling over people indiscriminately, including.
They're pulling over people that we have arrest warrants for. They're pulling over people that they believe to be illegal immigrants, which the Supreme Court has already ruled that they're allowed to profile based on immigration status. They've already ruled that they can do that.
Including U.S. citizens, and demanding to see their papers. And at grocery stores, at
Spider, I don't think he wants to. So, first off, what's up, Wasp? I don't think that Trump wants to invoke the Insurrection Act, because the problem is the second he does that, I think he's going to be forced to do it in a lot more places than just Minneapolis, which is basically the hotbed of all of this, at least in Minnesota. I think what he wants is he wants to get the Supreme Court to finalize basically whether or not they're going to let him just deploy the National Guard in general. They've already kicked it back to the Court of Appeals in the Ninth Circuit. So the Supreme Court held, I think it was like four weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago, that they, what was it? Honestly, I can't remember. They, whoa, cat. The Ninth Circuit isn't terrible. The Ninth Circuit is California, Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, I believe. And it's actually a relatively solid circuit. You've got a decent number of liberal judges, as you would assume. But they do a very good job of reining in the liberalism in California and Oregon. In fact, they're the main reason that you can still own a gun in California. Kat, is this on Twitter? I don't think the Supreme Court said that, Kat. Let's see. Trump latest. Let's see. Trying to find, where is that Trump account that tweets all of his Truth Social stuff? There we go. White House account. Here we go. Okay, let's look at this. If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE, who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that has taken place in the once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Which, of course, means that the Insurrection Act is trending on Twitter now. Yeah. I mean, once you federalize the National Guard, it's kind of potato. But let's see what this. Let's just be nice and call him a dumbass. Is saying.
Bus stops, even at our schools, they're breaking.
Once again, there's another lie they keep perpetuating. So they keep talking about January 6th, and they keep creating this lie that ICE is raiding schools. They're not. In fact, and that's one of the reasons why why the school districts up there have canceled in-person classes through like February 12th or something like that, so that they can perpetuate this lie over and over and over. ICE is not going into schools.
Windows, dragging pregnant women down the street, just plain grabbing Minnesotans and shoving them into unmarked vans, kidnapping innocent people with no warning and no due process. Let's be very, very clear. This long ago stopped being a matter of immigration and
due process for an illegal immigrant looks very different from due process for an American citizen. American citizens get a whole bunch of checks and balances. Illegal immigrants do not.
Enforcement. Instead, it's a campaign of organized brutality against the people of Minnesota.
Once again, if you had done your job as governor, and if your AG had done his job as AG, the ICE would not be there. You don't see ICE in cities like Miami and Columbia and Austin to this level because the governments of those states and cities are doing what ICE is telling them to do. You don't see 3,000 federal law enforcement in Orlando, Florida, because Orlando, Florida is obeying ICE detainer orders. It's these sanctuary cities that are ruining all of this. They're the problem. They're the ones that have allowed these illegal immigrants to overstay visas. They're the ones that have allowed these illegal immigrants to hide and not be arrested. It's his fault. It is not the fault of Donald Trump or the ICE agents. It's this man's fault that Renee Good is dead.
By our own federal government. Last week, that campaign claimed the life of Renee Nicole Good. We've all watched the video. We've all seen what happened. And yet, instead of conducting...
The voice starts getting shaky. He starts looking like he's trying to fight back that little whimper with the lip thing.
An impartial investigation so we can hold accountable the officer responsible for Renee's death. You
want an impartial investigation, so you want your officers to do it. Your officers that already have said they're not gonna obey ICE detainer orders, that they're not going to obey DHS, that they've already been told to stand down. You want your officers to conduct the investigation when it's federal law enforcement. If the FBI came in and started investigating your department, you would be furious. You'd be sitting there going, why is the FBI doing it? We are the Minnesota State Department or the Minneapolis Police Department have their own investigative arm of their department. They don't need the FBI to do this, even though the FBI and the DOJ have their own departments that investigate wrongdoing by law enforcement.
The Trump administration is devoting the full power of the federal government to finding an excuse to attack the victim and her family. Just yesterday, 6 federal prosecutors, including the longtime career prosecutor leading the charge to investigate and eliminate fraud in our state's programs, quit their jobs rather than go along with.
They didn't quit, they were fired. They were fired because they refused to obey the direction of the Department of Justice. They refused to go after the fraud. They refused to actually eliminate the issues. That's why they were fired. They did not quit their jobs.
This assault on the United States Constitution. But as bad as it's been, Donald Trump intends for it to get worse. This week, he went online to promise that, quote, the day of retribution and reckoning is coming. That's a direct threat against the people of this state who dared to vote against him 3 times and who continue to stand up for freedom.
No, it's not. It's not a threat. It is a promise that we will take our country back. That's what it is.
With courage and empathy and profound grace. All across Minnesota, people are stepping up to help their neighbors who are being unjustly and unlawfully targeted. They're distributing care packages and walking kids to school.
Yeah, okay, I've got a video for that. These white liberal women in Minnesota are so dumb. This is what they're doing. Hang on, let me make sure there's music on it. Okay. So this dumbass rapper, I'm sure, has created a song talking about how Chrissy Nome is an N-word. So I've muted the video. But this is what they're doing. They're spending all their money buying up all these groceries so they can go deliver them to illegals. Honestly, you need to start putting an ICE agent at the front of every Walmart up there so that he can radio into HQ or whatever. Okay, white SUV 38947PI just walked out with what looks like $1,000 in groceries. Let's follow them and then go pick up whoever they deliver that shit to. Oh, I'll tell you what, that's a lot of tampons. Must be delivering them to a boy's bathroom. How much money is this woman spending? All right, so these are the big mac and cheese boxes. Those are about $1.80 a box. It's a lot of chips. But like, my dudes, we all know how expensive razors are. This thing is probably $30. I don't know how expensive tampons are. Look at all of these. They are spending so much money on this shit. It is. It's absolutely Stockholm Syndrome. Okay, let's keep listening to this dumbass.
And raising their voices in peaceful protest, even though doing so has made many of our fellow Minnesotans targets for violent retribution.
Again, there's a difference between marching in protest with your signs and obstructing justice. What your fellow Minnesotians have been doing is obstructing justice. They are committing felonies. I am not going to sit here and I am a hardcore constitutionalist. I am a hardcore First Amendment activist. I think I should be able to say and do just about whatever the fuck I want. But I'll tell you what, I sure as hell accept the consequence of my actions. And if you think you should be able to park your cars in front of ICE, go around honking your horn and obstructing their mission, go right ahead, buddy. Go, please, Billy, do it. But when you get arrested, do not come crying to me. You're the dumbass that thought it was a good idea.
Folks, I know it's scary, and I know it's absurd that we all have to be defending law and order, justice, and humanity while also caring for our families and trying to do our jobs. So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation. You've done enough. Let me say 4 critical things to the people of Minnesota.
I really hope Trump and Noem go even harder now.
4 things I want you to hear as you watch the news and look out for your neighbors. First, Donald Trump wants this chaos. He wants confusion. And yes, he wants more violence on our streets. We cannot give him what he wants.
Then stop being violent. He's not the one bringing the agitators. Let's think back to all the videos we've seen. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong button. Let's see. I try and find a video. That's Georgia. I think this will work. That's New York. This is the chick in Minnesota. Thank you, Stephen Crowder, for this. Okay. Let me know who you think is the problem, okay? There's ICE agents over here, over on the right side, obviously, and she's yelling at ICE agents. Let me know who you think's the problem. Who do you think is the problem in this situation? The ICE agents that are standing over there just probably guarding a wall or something, or these 80-year-old white women who haven't had something to do in their lives the last 30 years and are now suddenly energized with the idea of meaning something to the world when they don't. Oh, I'm sorry. They're obstructing justice. They are preventing ICE agents from being able to drive to where they're trying to go. Wow, it'd be a shame if they all got arrested. Are they? Hang on. Is the ICE agent trying to do the siren along with the music? Oh my God, these people have such a good sense of humor. That is hilarious. Okay, let's get back to Tampon Tim over here.
We must protest loudly, urgently, but also peacefully.
Once again, nothing these people are doing is peaceful. I said it many times. Taylor versus South Carolina. That is your constitutional basis for peaceful protest.
Indeed, as hard as we will fight in the courts and at the ballot box, we cannot and will not let violence prevail.
You're the one inciting violence. You literally sat there a week ago and told everyone that you will fight the federal government. You said that you will use your law enforcement and National Guard to fight the feds. You're the one inciting violence.
You're angry. I'm angry. Angry is not a strong enough word, but we must remain peaceful. Second, you are not powerless. You are not helpless, and you are certainly not alone.
You want to bet, bitch?
All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger. Thousands of
No one is in danger. Okay? None of these people are in danger. Are you kidding me? They will be arrested, they will be deported, and they will return home. That's it. No one's in danger. Like, stop with these lies.
Thousands of our fellow Minnesotans are going to be relying on mutual aid in the days and weeks to come, and they need our support. Tonight, I want to share another way you can help. Witness. Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans.
Again, seriously, atrocities? You want to compare this to atrocities? Are you fucking kidding me? You know what? Let's look at this shit. I know I've got one video in here of an actual arrest. Oh, I loved this. This dude decided to pretend that he was a actual cop. That he has a badge, not a cosplay badge. That's a lie. He's basically a bail enforcement agent. They're not real cops. They are pretend cops. He's also, and I'm not going to say it out loud, I'm going to pull up the community note here. He's a big fan of, what's the phrase they use? Cheese pizza. And he's been convicted of prior police impersonation. So this is the guy that y'all want, that Tampon Tim wants us to listen to. Let me see if I can find that video, though. Okay, I don't know how much more of these videos of just honking and whistling I can listen to, so I'm going to mute this video. But he's sitting there talking about filming and tracking their atrocities and all this stuff. So this is one of the things that he's talking about. You know, how they're following ICE agents and honking, whistling, impeding their movement. We call it, as an attorney, we call it obstruction of justice. It's a felony. They actually just convicted a sitting judge in Wisconsin for doing this. Well, not this, but obstruction of justice. Nothing that we see here is an atrocity. The other video we saw of one of them just pulling out the mace and spraying the dude out the window is not an atrocity. You know what would be an atrocity? If these guys suddenly turned their backs on everything and started shooting at the houses, that would be an atrocity. If the protesters that were going along protesting, we saw a video of that in Chicago. You know, that tiny group that was moving, that all the other cameras on the ground made it look like there was a lot of people. If the cops went out and just started shooting all of them up, you know, sort of like I think Clyde pulled it up, the 12,000 protesters that have been murdered in Iran. That's an atrocity. Arresting people for being in this country illegally is not an atrocity.
Just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution. The third thing I want to say,
threatening to prosecute ICE agents for doing their job. Oh my God, why did I keep doing this? Once again, immunity. You cannot prosecute a federal law enforcement official for doing their job.
Idiot tonight is, we will not have to live like this forever. Accountability is coming at the voting booth and in court.
Again, Governor Tampon Tim, your boyfriend over in California already had the Court of Appeals in California tell him he was wrong. The Supreme Court has ruled 89% of the time in Trump's favor. Do you really think you're going to win in court?
We will reclaim our communities from Donald Trump. We will reestablish a sense of safety for our neighbors, and we will bring an end to this moment of chaos, confusion, and trauma.
Again, all of this video, this under 6-minute video, the stuff that Ilhan Omar goes on the House floor to talk about, all of this is them trying to take the news story off of what they've done and put it on what ICE is doing. They are trying to move the news cycle forward so that they won't end up being arrested, and it ain't going to work.
We'll find a way to move forward, and we'll do it together, and we'll not be alone. Every day we are working with business leaders, faith leaders, legal experts, and elected officials from across this.
There isn't a damn legal expert alive that should be working with you, because they should all know that you're fucking wrong.
Country. They've all seen what Donald Trump is trying to do to our state, and they know their states could be next.
Woo-hoo,
and that brings me to the fourth.
Which one? Oh, holy, you mean they might go to a different state too? Are you kidding me? Please go to California. Let's check out where the billions of dollars went for the high-speed rail, the homeless groups, the drug groups. Let's find all the fraud in California. That could probably fix the entirety. We'd probably never have to pay taxes again. If we found the fraud in California, holy shit.
Thing I want to say tonight, Minnesota, how incredibly proud I am of the way that you've risen to meet this unbearable moment. But I'm not at all surprised, because this is who we are. Minnesotans believe in the rule of law.
I'm sorry. Hang on a second. Remember, this is who we are. This is who we are as Minnesotans. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. Calm down. Sometimes it just feels so dumb.
And Minnesotans believe in the dignity of all people. We're a place where there's room for everybody, no matter who you are or who you love or where you came from. A place where we feed our kids, we take care of our neighbors, and we look out for those in the shadows of life. We're an island of decency in a country being driven towards cruelty. We will remain an island of decency, of justice, of community, of peace. And tonight I come before you simply to ask, don't let anyone take that away from us. Thank you, protect each other, and may God bless the people of Minnesota.
I'm shocked he said, may God bless the people of Minnesota. This is a great song. If y'all have never heard it before, Cody Johnson, The Fall, beautiful song. Excellent. God, what a friggin' idiot. Guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I gotta go get a drink. It's not an alcoholic drink. I'm just thirsty. So give me like 45 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, okay, we're back. Good morning, KC Cheeto. He means Moloch, not actually God. Yes, remember to hydrate. It's good old Arnold Palmer. Let's laugh for a second, because that made me really angry. I want to laugh for a little bit. You know what's really cool? I like this. So I think I saw some people laughing at Kai Cenat. Is that how you say? Cenat? For doing this. So, but I think this is really cool. So I guess he's trying to, broaden his vocabulary or something. No idea what he's doing, but
spontaneous. How do I pronounce that?
Honestly, I think we should send this to Jay, because I think this would help. But he looks up the word to figure out how to pronounce it and what it means, which I think is Awesome. You know, I've definitely done that before.
Spawn. Spontaneity.
Mm-hmm. Spontaneity.
Spawn. Oftentimes, when I don't know what a word is pronounced, I get to look at how it's pronounced and what it even means.
Spontaneity.
Spontaneity. The condition of being spontaneous. Spontaneity.
Yeah. So I think that's great. You know, that's one of the ways that people who are studying for the spelling bee, that's one of the things they'll do. I love that. You know, working to make yourself a better person, whether or not it's simply just broadening your vocabulary or, you know, going as far as, you know, going to the gym every morning, you know, getting up and praying, all that kind of stuff. You know, anything you do to make yourself better is, you know, props off, hands up. Love to see it.
This is unacceptable.
Okay.
Absolutely unacceptable. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Is your
Let's laugh at another crazy white lady. You know she's white.
name? Sir, tell me your name. This is unacceptable.
Okay.
Absolutely unacceptable. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. This is
Should
not
we?
appropriate. This is my country. I'm here legally. These people, you never ask for proof. You are a bad, evil person. You need to be expunged. You need to go to another country. You need to know what it looks like. Instead, you're pulling over innocent people, not
How do you know they're
with
innocent?
any ID, and just hauling them off. You all should be ashamed. How do you go home to children, to friends, to family? Do you tell them what you do?
Clyde, I know it's really annoying. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. You're going to love this.
For a living, that you arrest people without cause, that you just pick them up, put them in a truck? Is that what you do? Are you proud of yourself for doing this? Are you absolutely proud?
Thank you for calling the ice
Yeah. He says, thank you for calling the ICE hotline.
Proud of this? Are you proud? You are an idiot. You do not deserve to walk the face of this earth. None of you. None of you. You are.
I tell you what, that must be signing up to be a DHS agent must be the easiest way to drive a $120,000 vehicle.
Fools! I did get a name. They took somebody out of that car. And they're. Yeah.
Yeah, lobotomy definitely needed. Okay. I saw this, so y'all have to as well. This is this person's first day of college. I mean, Spider, I don't see any of the normal, like, shine that AI videos have. If this dude walked up into your class, I'd get up and walk out. I think I'd ask for my money back. Pinocchio goes to take camp. Oh my God. I mean, I don't think I would trust the degree I would get from this college. Right? Look at that. How is that not racist? This is whiteface. How is this not racist? He should be canceled. God. I wish I could find. I mean, it's not like I don't want to do anything to this dude. I'm assuming it's a dude. I just want to know what college it is. Jose Taco says he's driving. Can I explain what's going on? It's a black kid, 18 years old, based on the fact that the video says first day of college, with makeup on, white face makeup with like plaid makeup on one eye, and I mean, it just looks basically like a French whore wearing every piece of jewelry that has ever been invented. Looks like someone I'm shocked they got out of high school, because this dude would have been bullied every single second of high school. I appreciate that, dog. Dressed Zero says he's dressed in the 17th century jester. Oh, this was funny. Okay. Is there music on this? Yeah, there's music. I'm gonna have to mute it. So this is what they're doing in Minneapolis. Okay, this woman, Somalian woman's got a whistle or something, and they've seen ICE drive by, which means all they've really seen are SUVs. You know, I'm pretty sure people in Minnesota own SUVs, but they've seen SUVs drive by, so they're running outside to start whistling so that they can like start forming a chain of whistles going down the road so they can warn all the illegals ICE is coming.
Oh my God.
They did, Clyde. They did. Yeah. Let me see if I can find that video. Cornboy, I haven't seen any videos of it. We're going to talk about it in a second. That's okay. This one's Renee Good. I don't really care about that. This is all the Renee Good stuff. How about latest? Yeah. Here we go. So this is from Nick Sorter and I guess Tommy Robinson as well from over in the UK. There's an abandoned ICE car. I don't know why it's abandoned. But they started ripping open the weapons cases and stealing weapons.
There's some bullets.
What is it?
I don't know.
There's another one. Yeah, I don't know why the cars were abandoned. Oh yeah, I have no idea why, if they were, just down the street or something, but this weekend is gonna be terrible. There's another video of a very similar thing. So remember, this one started the weapon cases in the car. There's another one where a truck pulled up, hitched a I forget what it's called, to the weapons case and drove the truck out so that they could pull the weapon case out and steal it. But so that's 2 weapons cases we've seen. Here it is.
Hey, so they gonna be on your left.
It doesn't show the whole thing. But yeah, so he pulls the whole thing out. They're like padlocked into in the back of the cars. But this is terrible. Like for Governor Walsh to go up there last night and talk about how the federal government's the one that needs to calm down. This is ridiculous. You are literally allowing your citizens to steal from the feds. You think that's a good idea? It's absolutely going to turn into a war zone. If caught, let's see. Theft of government property. My guess would be possession of a firearm, an illegal firearm. They're probably machine guns. They're probably not just semi-automatic weapons. And then all of these crimes are multiplied because they're against federal agents. So yummy. I love Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer is probably the best non-alcoholic drink there is. This stuff, man. I imagine D-Day Cobra is just live 24/7 now, right? Like, how would Jeremy have time to do anything but be live on this stuff? What? You have the wrong kind of arm. Do you make them yourself or do you buy pre-made ones? So DOD put out a new ad for the military. Welcome to the Strength Department.
Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O.
See, that's always good, but I will always prefer the one from the Medal of Honor recipient, the Army Sergeant. Staff Sergeant Dave Avila. This is my favorite one. I think this is one of the best things I've ever heard.
We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
That's up there with the there's billboards every now and then you'll see that say it's not our job to tell terrorists whether or not they're going to heaven or hell. It's our job, but it is our job to arrange the meeting. The Marines. Big fan of that. So we are an hour and 13 in. I am going to go ahead and copy Jay on this and just thank everyone for being here. Thank even everyone that's not even talking, the lurkers. It's great to have people in chat. It's great to have people lurking. It's great to just have people here who are interested and, at least from what I can tell, enjoying it. So I appreciate it more than I'm genuinely capable of expressing. So thank you. And I hope we miss it very soon. Thank you, Clyde. Did y'all see this this video from Oprah went on The View and wore a suit, which I still think is dumb.
All these years, I thought I was.
And don't forget, Oprah was a huge proponent of, was it Weight Watchers that she they paid her millions of dollars to promote? Yeah. Yeah. So she was on the Weight Watchers board for nearly a decade. And she left the board because they found out she was using Ozempic instead of doing Weight Watchers. And you can tell she's using Ozempic because she's already got this curve here in her face, which everyone that has been using Ozempic, you can see. And who's losing weight honestly, and who's losing weight because of Ozempic or over other GLP-1 drugs, because they all have these flush cheeks. Ozempic face is what I think they're calling it.
Overeating. I was standing there with all the food noise, what I ate, what I should eat, how many calories was that, how long is it going to take? I thought that was because
literally talking against Weight Watchers right now. She's literally saying Weight Watchers is bad.
Of me and my fault. Yeah. Now I understand that if you carry the obesity gene, if that is what you have, that is what makes you overeat.
No. Oh my gosh. You know why I'm overweight? Because I eat too much or ate too much. I've been doing better recently. But that's why people are overweight, because they eat too much. It's not because you have a glandular problem. There's probably 0.2% of people on the planet who are fat because of some genetic issue. The vast majority, probably 99% of people, are overweight because they commit the sin of gluttony. They eat too much. They sit there and go, they have the problem, they'll order food and they'll be like, well, you know, I'm going to pay $20 at this restaurant to have it delivered, but that's just for one, you know, small burger. But if I get this restaurant, I can get 9 burgers for $20. So I'm going to do that. And then they'll eat all 9 burgers. That's what the problem is. It has nothing to do with your genetics. It has nothing to do with it mostly has nothing to do with your genetics. We already know that because of how men's bodies and women's bodies work, men burn fat easier than women do, which sucks. Like, that just feels like a real dick move. But that's the bullshit of all of this. I hate this stuff.
You don't overeat and become obese. Right. Obesity causes you to overeat. Right.
No. Where's Kohlhauser? What do you have to say to this? Yes, but there's more to it than just that, Jose. The crap in our food doesn't help, but you still have people who are not overweight because they eat correctly. You know, there's that guy that proved that there's not really such thing as good calories or bad calories, because he would eat 400 bad calories a day and he lost, you know, 30 or 40 pounds because of it. So it's all about managing your intake, calorie intake, and exercise. That's how you do it. So you lose weight.
Obesity causes you to have all of that food noise. And what the GLP-1s have done for me, and I know a number of other people, is to quiet that noise.
What? What is food noise? Does she say that at the beginning?
All these years, I thought I was overeating. I was standing there with all the food noise, what I ate.
What is food noise? Food noise is the term for constant, intrusive, and often unwanted thoughts about food, eating, and cravings. It's, you know what it is? It's boredom. That's what food noise is. Boredom. Okay? The vast majority of people that overeat because they're bored. The beast, I'm right there with you, man. Gluttony is this. There's a reason that gluttony is a sin. Oh, don't worry about the caps lock. Just don't do it all the time. I'm a little more forgiving of that than Jay is. Which one was this? Okay, this is pretty funny. Hang on, I gotta actually share the dang thing. So we got crazy eyes here, and holy crap, are these crazy eyes!
And for those of you celebrating the Supreme Court's ruling of what a woman is,
also wrong. The Supreme Court has not ruled what a woman is. The Supreme Court has not even made a decision on the transgender case in women's sports. So she's just wrong.
what's going to happen when you, a cis woman, get stopped by police because they believe you're trans?
There is not a single female out there there are barely any females out there that would ever be mistaken for a man trying to be a woman. They just don't exist. The other thing is there are, to my understanding, 0 attempts to arrest transgender women. Yeah. There are 0 attempts to arrest transgender women for existing. They get arrested for going into bathrooms and pleasuring themselves.
I'm not trans, officer. Here's my identification. Oh, I don't believe you. You look trans to me.
It's not happening. That does not happen. That has not happened. That would not happen.
So what can he do then? He can touch you. He can look at you. He can make you take your pants off to show him, to expose yourself. And if you don't, he can put you in jail. Who the
Where is that coming from?
fuck does that protect? Because it's certainly not women. And for those,
I mean, we knew that this was going to be good when we saw the eyes. We knew that it was going to be a whole lot of crazy. I didn't think it would get to that level. Holy crap. Yeah. She's been reading way too much of that smut book, those smut books. Does anyone think that this is true? So this was a poll. What poll was it? It doesn't tell us, but it's a poll for the 2028 presidential election. Let me know if y'all think this is true, that if it happened today, Kamala Harris would beat J.D. Vance. There's another one. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here's the other one. Same Twitter account. Kamala Harris against J.D. Vance. Kamala Harris against Rubio. J.D. Vance over Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom over Rubio. And Rubio over Shapiro. I don't believe a single one of these. Actually, I take it back. The only one that I think might actually be legit is Newsom over Rubio, because I think while I would vote for Rubio over Newsom, I think that there are more people that would sit that election out than any of these other elections. I definitely don't think Kamala Harris would ever beat Marco Rubio. Kamala Harris will never beat anyone for president. Yeah. Good, these polls are ever right. And Sheriff is right. I'd love to see all of these debates would be fun. Big Mike for VP. Oh my gosh, these are insane. So We're gonna watch this. This is a 3.5-minute clip of a appeals hearing for what's up, Spirian? Dude, see now, she could get coached for a decade and she'll still get plastered. This is a court of appeals hearing for a appeal by the state to convict someone of a felony, even though they were convicted of the misdemeanor. I'm not going to try to explain everything that happened because it's a bit confusing and I just won't be able to honey test this. But I want us to listen to this real quick. This is the attorney for the state, the woman down here on the right. She's arguing that they should be allowed to convict her of the felony, even though she wasn't convicted of the felony by the jury. And it's because the judge instructed the jury incorrectly.
Is it your position that a person can still be convicted of a crime with which they were never charged and with which the jury was never instructed, as long as the evidence is sufficient?
Yes, I think that is what the case law indicates, that if it's just in this case, I'll just point out too that, I don't have the language of the statutes that you're citing in your hypothetical, but it's
which is the problem. That's every one of these judges have just stopped listening to her because she's just told them, I don't know what I'm talking about. Any attorney that is doing appellate work, because appellate work is a very different animal from just straight up jury trials. You have to be much more on ready to go. You have to know that you're going to basically get up there. You're going to have 10 to 15 minutes of oral arguments, basically. But you're going to be able to go maybe 30 seconds before you start getting interrupted and peppered with questions. And she should have had all the language ready to go. It's a lot of old people. This case must be about someone that's old.
It was one word, might, and it was already...
Yeah, but that one word distinguishes it from a felony to a misdemeanor.
And this case made an extra sentence, 15 more months in the Department of Corrections that couldn't have been given had it been a misdemeanor conviction. It clearly affects a substantial right.
And I'll just say, I'm confused as to why the people are continuing to maintain that the proper remedy on this isn't to enter the conviction for the misdemeanor, because the indictment used the word might and the jury was instructed on that. So that's what the verdict is. I am baffled as to the position that's being taken that we can somehow overlook that and still enter the felony because the evidence that was presented at trial would have supported the felony. Are you still?
So what? Based off of what I hear by the judge's questions, what I am assuming happened is the judge incorrectly informed the jury on the law. The jury found this person guilty of a misdemeanor. The state said, "Oh, hang on a second, this should have also been a felony because of this." And the judge said, "Well, we're not going to convict her on the felony because the jury did not find for the felony; they found for the misdemeanor. But they should have found for the felony, but they didn't. And so they've appealed this decision to a panel of judges, and the panel of judges is sitting there going, well, you didn't even instruct on the felony. You only instructed on the misdemeanor. And you can't sit there now and say, well, if we had instructed on the felony, the evidence for the felony is there. They would have been able to find for the felony. It's like, it doesn't matter. If John goes out and kills James and he kills him by beating him to death, and all you do is instruct on battery, you can't sit there and then find him guilty for murder because you didn't tell the jury about murder.
Maintaining that position in front of us here today.
That was a really good analogy. I'm really happy with that.
Yes, that is our position.
What case law supports that argument?
I'm sorry.
What case law supports that
I've cited
argument?
it in my brief. I don't have it right.
Again, she should have her brief right in front of her, tabbed and ready to go. But I will say the same thing that I said yesterday. This is difficult work. This is probably some of the hardest court appearances that any attorney will ever make is appellate work. It's something that I will never do in my career. I don't want to do. I did it one time in 1 year. We had this project in LRAW, legal writing and legal research and analysis, legal research, analysis, and writing. And we had to, the first half of the second semester, we did this big project on some sort of model case. Mine was defamation. And then I had to go and argue an appellate brief for that conviction. And I fucked it all up. I was terrible. I think I got a C on it simply because the teacher didn't want me to fail. I did not do a good job. And they weren't even actual judges asking me questions. It was three attorneys who didn't even do defamation. I could have just made shit up, but no, it was terrible.
In front of me, but the case
it's the omitted elements
Yes,
case law,
correct.
right? But that's just where the element was omitted, and but the element that was omitted wasn't in dispute. Here,
So, Zero, I would agree with you, but for what she's getting ready to say, I think in about 30 seconds. This is the only thing she says that I think kind of saves her from completely wasting the court's time. I agree, Mark. Absolutely, I agree. And that's how it should be. You and I both know, though, that that's not what always happens. And it is, in my opinion, pathetic that we ever let that kind of shit happen.
The jury was affirmatively misinstructed. It was instructed on the misdemeanor, and it found her guilty of that misdemeanor beyond a reasonable doubt. This isn't the omission of an element. This is a misinstructed jury. How can we correct that by saying, no, we'll just assume that because she could have also been convicted of the felony, we enter that even though we don't have a jury verdict? That's a...
I understand it's a difficult position
Okay.
for the people to be in. But
It's not a position you have to take.
But
and that's what they're basically. I think these judges are really being nice. If I was one of them, I would have shut it down immediately. I would have been like, "You're fucking nuts. We're not doing this." But I don't think. I think they're pulling their punches a lot.
Thank you. But I do believe that the omitted element language applies because to me, I understand, I can hear from the way you're talking about it, it seems more egregious to add this extra word than it is to omit an element. But to me, omitting an element is a pretty big deal. And the fact that can be
Except in those cases, at least the person was originally charged with the elemental language. Here, never on the table.
That is true. But if I can just add.
I hate you. No, Andy, I do not. Not at least for a very long time. Legislatures and bars are going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen because they're not going to want to lose their jobs. And we already have a case out of Arizona where an attorney's office used AI to write a brief, and it is one of the worst, I would say one of the worst opinions on malpractice I've seen in years. It cited incorrect cases. It cited cases out of different jurisdictions. It was just a complete shit show. So AI is a tool. AI is a tool that you can use, but if you start relying on it, I think, especially as an attorney, you're fucked You know, I talked about this the other day where I showed, you know, AI can give me very simple things. You know, if I wanted to tell me, you know, the differences in different vestings for real estate, then I'll feel comfortable doing that. But beyond that, I don't feel comfortable using it to do real research at all. I do too. He, unfortunately, I don't think he talks at all. So she's about to kind of save her entire argument here, because what ended up happening was they said in the indictment or whatever it was, they said, we are charging John with, you know, violation of 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they defined 1, 2, 3, 5. So she's arguing that the defense was on notice that both of these could be charged. And because of that, they should have argued during the case why she wasn't guilty of the felony. I disagree. I don't really care if you give me the statute number. I'm going by what you define the crime as. And if you define the misdemeanor, that's what I think you're arguing, especially if you spend the entirety of the court case arguing the misdemeanor, which is what they apparently did. There isn't really anything great after that, but I thought that was interesting. I knew Mark would like it. No. Mark, correct me. You can charge, double jeopardy goes down, not up. So you cannot be convicted of a lesser included crime, but you can be convicted of something more serious. So if I go to rob a store with a gun and I shoot the clerk and I'm convicted of armed robbery, then the clerk dies, I can then be convicted of murder because it's not a lesser included charge. Am I right, Mark? It's going to be real embarrassing if I'm wrong about that. Just waiting for Mark to say yes. I mean, this would be a terrible thing. I don't think we are so far away from AI actually being able to you will get a new trial, but some of the elements have already been proven. Yeah, so I'm right. We're so far away from AI actually being able to give us legitimate, non-already created information. Meaning AI is a great tool to mimic and copy things. That's why it's pretty good at doing things like coding, but it's really bad at creating brand new things. That's why it's terrible in the legal field, because it tries to create a brand new thing by copying decisions by justices and judges. And that's not, a judge doesn't want to see, you know, a 900 quotations. They want to see your reasoning using a couple of quotations. Okay, but basically I'm right. I don't really have a problem with jury nullification. So if you don't know, jury nullification is the idea that at the end of the day, it is totally on the jury. They can decide whether or not they think the person should be guilty, if or punished, I should say, for what they did. If they believe that everything was justified, they have a moral obligation to let the person go. I'm, for the most part, I'm down with it. I think it's good. Defense attorneys aren't really supposed to argue it, but they do all the time. I like it. I think it's one of the checks on the police. It's one of the reasons that we put normal human beings in the box and not a bunch of attorneys. You know, juries used to be educated people on the law, and when all you have to do is prove, 4 or 5 things happened, and you don't, every now and then you miss out on why it happened. I think the why is important. If the dad whose daughter was brutally assaulted by some dude, goes and kills that guy, well, I don't really think that dude should be convicted. I don't know. What, Mark, what do you mean? Do you mean that you hate the defense attorneys that do it, or you hate the people that, spend their time trying to make sure that everyone always uses jury nullification? Thanks. What's up, Jay? How you doing, man? Yeah, we're having a pretty good show over here today. I hear you had a good show last night. Whoa. Yes, Jay is alive. So I think the last thing we're going to talk about tonight, okay, yeah, I'm with you on that, dude. Oh, yeah, read that later. Hang on a second. I think 2 things are missing. Is that a euphemism? Where is... I'm looking for something on, I think I bookmarked it. So there was another shooting last night in Minneapolis involving ICE agents. And what's really kind of fucked up about it is the news is reporting it as Here we go. So the New York Times reported this as a federal agent shot an immigrant in the leg in Minneapolis. A federal official said 1 week after an ICE official killed Renee Good in the city. So this is what's bullshit about this is yes, Interstellar, I can. I have to pull up my stream though. Oh God, I can hear my voice. So what actually happened here was ICE pulled up to arrest a guy, and that guy jumped the ICE agents, and then started reaching and grabbing for his weapon, at which time 2 other people ran over and started beating the ICE agent with a shovel and a stick to try to get him off the criminal. It was a suspected Venezuela gangster. Started beating the ICE agent. The ICE agent fired and hit the Venezuelan in the leg, and at which point all three. So at which point backup arrived. The 2 agitators have been arrested, and the other 2 have been taken. The ICE agent and the Venezuelan guy have been taken to the hospital, and are all neither in critical condition. This is what Homeland Security replied to it. Nice, good post. This is I will say it's really nice that check marks can make things a little bit longer, or tweets a little bit longer. Well, a lot longer, because we are able to get the full story now. This despicably misleading headline is exactly why the American people have completely lost faith in the mainstream media. This journalist knows the facts, was given the truth, and adamantly refuses to report it. Here are the facts. At 6:50 p.m. Central Time, federal law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted traffic stop in Minneapolis of an illegal alien from Venezuela who was released in the country by Joe Biden in 2022. In an attempt to evade arrest, that subject fled the scene in his vehicle and crashed into a parked car. The subject then fled on foot. The law enforcement officer caught up to the subject on foot and attempted to apprehend him when the subject began to resist and violently assault the officer. While the subject and law enforcement were in a struggle on the ground, 2 suspects came out of a nearby apartment and also attacked the law enforcement officer with a snow shovel and broom handle. As the officer was being ambushed and attacked by the 2 individuals, the original subject got loose and began striking the officer with a shovel or broomstick. Fearing for his life and safety as he was being ambushed by 3 individuals, the officer fired a defensive shot to defend his life. The initial subject was hit in the leg. All 3 subjects ran back into the apartment and barricaded themselves inside. The attacked officer and subject are both in the hospital. Both attackers are in custody. So, seems to me like what we have here is a attempt by the New York Times to paint ICE agents as murderous thugs, which of course doesn't surprise me in the least. F-A-F-O. Damn right. No, that's not her name. And yet he capitalized Snow. I don't know. I think Kohlhauser's got a friend. Yeah, Sheriff, we talked about both incidences probably about 30 minutes ago. because it happened twice. That's funny. Don't worry about it. Let's see. I think that's going to be it. I don't really see anything else. Oh, this is funny. Donald Trump running over Tim Walz. Anyone got anything they want to talk about? Not until you like miniature wargaming. So Mark Reality, legally speaking, will continue at 9:45 a.m. until I get a job. When I get a job, we'll figure that out. I've had a lot of fun doing this daily, so maybe we'll have more of a semi-daily type thing. We'll go live at 6 o'clock and talk about stuff for an hour and then raid my gaming stream. I don't know, but I think we'll definitely do this more than just once a week in the future when I get back to work. No, I don't want to talk about it yet because I'm trying not to get hyped up for it. I'll just say if anything good is going to happen, I'll talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and call it there. Who's live? We can't raid yet, but amen. Amen. God's will be done. Is Tabitha live? I know she usually does something at 10 a.m. Doesn't look like it. Well, everyone go hang out over in Daily. They're going live in like 5 minutes. So y'all already got the link, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link here. It looks like they're talking about some Star Wars today. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all so much for being here. This might have done it. This stream at about 40 people for 2 hours. This might have done it. We'll definitely see the numbers at the end of all it. But y'all have a great night, great day. We'll be live probably about an hour and a half over on King's Advisors playing some Red Dead Redemption. I'll see y'all later.